Hey, peace and blessings. Namaste to all light warriors, workers, and everything in between. It is I, Sophie, today with my special guest, Sister Goddess Cat. I love having her on the show. You know, she's
Hey, everybody.
amazing. And nah, 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 nah. Go for it, Cat. All right, so it's been a very long time. You know, it's been a little while since I've been out here doing this live broadcast. I want to get y'all updated on a lot of things that's been going on behind the scenes. Then I'm going to turn it over to Miss Cat and let her update you guys also on the things that are going along behind the scenes. I do understand that people might have their religious sects and things going on today, so we might not have a lot of live watchers, but you will have the opportunity to come back and revisit the meditation that we're going to do. You can do this on your own time if you're not along with us, but I'm here to let y'all know what's been going on. So we knew, okay, during the time that those monoliths have been popping up all over and then they disappeared, that the earth at that time was being terraformed, right? And so a lot of high dimensional beings were coming in, and those that did not resonate on that frequency, they ended up, kind of fading out. Some had sicknesses, illnesses, things of that nature. But we are now in this dispensation of time where we're pulling our soul families, our soul groups, and we're starting to recognize each other. We're going closer and closer and closer. So recently, I have ran across another family member who happened to be a producer.
Oh,
And he was expressing, yes, like he was expressing that something about the tone, of my voice and how it can be healing. And now he wants to put me in the studio. Right.
nice.
So I'm like, I don't want to
Yes.
go in the studio, but I'm going to take my son to the studio, with me. And he wants to, collaborate on like open words, like spoken word that is kind of higher vibrational. And it can be behind, nice music with catchy beats. But the messages that we're going to be sending is going to be completely different. Right. So,
Okay.
that's the time for our voices to be heard, in different ways. I also invested in this animation software. So I'm currently writing like these little skits, and I have some people on my team that's going to help me. Thank God. Okay. So the reason
Yes.
why a lot of people have not been seeing or hearing from me is because I'm being pulled in so many different directions right now. And I already told y'all and admitted to everybody that knows me, I'm bad with time management. Okay. I have admitted that. That is a flaw of mine. And, just getting that groundwork done and established as well. Now, I'm going to be freed up a little bit after the 9th because that is the last day for the calendar school year for some of the public county schools, but I'll still be working in little private sections, but it's going to allow me some more time to spend with you guys and tell you all what's going on. So, Miss Cat, I got to tell you this. So, this came in the mail.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
All
The
right. So
scales.
now, yes, my aunt, right? So
Mhm.
get that. And I'm thinking, why do I have these scales now? Like we have been over ether cases in 2020, but it looks like they're revamping back again. Apparently, there's been some crimes against humanity. We got to go back into judgment mode now. So if you find yourself in meditations, and you find yourself leaving, and now you're getting all of this information, or you're judging ether cases, then that's because it's time to do that. Warriors are coming out. I've been running into a lot of warriors and elves who actually know who they are. And that's amazing to me too, because they're, like the guy that's the producer, he was in a coma for 3 days. He had died, came back, was
What?
in a
Oh my
coma
gosh.
for 3. Yes. And when he
Okay.
came back, he's looking at the world like,
Different.
what's happening? Like as if he was a walk-in, like a spot,
Yeah.
looking at the world like this. And he and
Hmm.
I was talking for like 8 hours. I mean, it could have been a whole day. We broke it up a little bit, but the man's mind is profound. Okay, profound. Cat, he has a tattoo of a caduceus going all down his neck. right?
Oh, nice.
Beautiful caduceus. Then not only that, but he wears like Jordan Air Force Ones. He got wings on the side of his sneakers.
Now, can you explain what, when you say elves, can you explain for some people that don't know what that is? Um,
I'm talking
all
about
about that.
powers, Elohim, ancestors, ancients, angels. You know,
Yes.
different dispensations of time. You know, and how we represented ourselves on this earth. You know, when we were going through the incarnations, and so a lot of them that are coming back here, they're recognizing who they are. The only issue is that I am personally experiencing with talking to them is
Mm-hmm.
getting them out of the mindset of thinking like the sheep and getting into more divine thinking. You understand? Like they're still processing information as if they're sheeple. You know, they're still
Right.
binding themselves. You know, they're
Yes.
still becoming dependent on the things that was passed down. You know, for babies to start getting into their like religion. Like we've always said
Exactly.
religion is
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the baby books, the baby steps of getting into, your spirituality, the introduction of God, but not necessarily the fullness of it, right? So when we're
Yes.
dealing with the ethical, the moral codes and things of that nature, some of these L's are coming in starting over like babes. And my job now is to get them to think higher. We got to get outside of this. Okay, you're coming straight from the creator. You're here
Yes.
on a mission. So what is your mission? All right. So
Right.
that's some of the things that I've been going through. So that's
And we
just
still
keeping
have all of
everybody.
these boxes, these self-imposed boxes upon us that we really, it's limiting. So I
It
understand what
is.
you're.
So that's all that's been going on with me. Okay. All of these collaborations, building it's empire time. It's
Yeah.
building time. It's creating time. So now get us abreast on what's been going on with you.
Me, honestly, I have been really taking the time to slow down and nurture myself, my mind, my body, and really just been in studying mode. Sometimes I have this tendency of just go, go, go. And I have to remind myself that, I have to put my brain in rest mode sometimes because,
Right.
you
Right.
know, I can get very active mentally and it's nonstop. So I have to physically make myself slow down. And down here in South Florida, it's been raining a lot. So I've kind of been
Mm.
forced to slow down, stay in, and really just like my home is my temple. So it doesn't matter if it's day or night. I have candles, I have incense, and I'm usually in a state of mind where I can receive downloads, and I'm blessed that I'm able to spend that time doing that, and really going inwards and really just upgrading, upgrading myself, clearing out my DNA. I've been working on. I'm always working on myself. So,
I know.
um, and it's not like I feel like something's per se wrong with me that I'm working on myself. Really, it's just I really value self-evaluation. I really value knowing who I am. Remembering who I am, and walking in that power. You know.
Right, right, right. I,
You
I
know.
get that. I get
Yeah.
that. Now you were talking about doing a collaboration and we're to do some writing together.
I would
What is the
love to do
focus?
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what is the focus?
What's that?
What is the focus? Like what is the message that you really want to get out there to the people?
Honestly, this just popped in my head a few minutes ago, the thought. Sometimes we plan these things in the astral realm and then we manifest them here physically. But really, I have been thinking about writing something along the lines of really just kind of what you were saying. People really like remembering who they are, knowing who they are, and really to heal yourself and know who you are, you need to clear out a lot of trauma. You need to clear out a lot of programming from your childhood, from your early experiences. You need to really become a different being,
Right,
because the reason why you're not who you are is because of all this programming, right? You have all of
right,
these things on you. You have, since you were born, you have this this pushed on you. You have that pushed on you. You have what society wants you to be. You have what the religion you're brought up wants you to be. You have society expectations and norms, and then you have on top of that, discrimination, and you have other things. So you have all of these things on you telling you what you should be, how you should feel, how you should walk in this world, and really none of it's you. Like if you strip all
Right.
of it away, what are you besides your religion? What are you besides being whatever you are? You've been told what you are.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
and
I was
then
having the same conversation with that guy last night. I was having the same
really
conversation. Yeah. Yeah. Because we
we're
were
on the same
talking about,
wavelength.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I'm trying to explain to him, because he was bringing out a truth. Okay. And I'm sitting there listening to him and I'm like, okay, I finally found my match. So I was like excited to hear from this because when I say this man has power, the way that he was talking to me, I was like, I was kind of shrinking. And anybody that knows me knows that's not my character.
Don't
You
shrink.
know, no
Yeah.
strength. Like he's talking to me, and I said, because we got into, the conversation. He had been celibate for about 9 months, right? And I'm like, oh, I know that's difficult for a man. I don't know what you're doing, and I'm not even going to ask you what you're doing. I mean, like, I know that that's
Right.
difficult. And he was like, he felt like that he was being preserved. And I said, well, maybe you are. I said, maybe you were being preserved for somebody special. Maybe you're queen, you know.
It's
And so he
possible.
asked me, he was like, why are you, why have you been celibate? And I was like, well, I'm being preserved too. I said, because I know that the man that I deal with, I'm going to crown, because this is what divine feminines do. We crown our kings, right? So when we become intimate with them and we give away, we absorb their energy and then we give it back, but we give it back with such potency, So he says, when I tell him I'm being celibate because I know that who I'm going to be with, I'm going to crown, he tells me, well, who's going to crown you? And I said,
Right.
oh, well, excuse me, I'm getting hot. You
Mm-hmm.
leave me
And
alone.
yeah. Sometimes when you're not even aligned with when the person's not aligned, they're somehow not allowed to physically enter your temple because
That's right.
it's blocked.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And I told him, when it comes down to high level spiritual beings, it has to be an energetic match. Like we won't even be able to get to that point of intimacy. Like the body won't even respond when the energy is off.
That's true.
We have spent so much time, you and I, and other divine feminines and things of that nature, cleansing our temples because of this reason, so that we can vibrate on a certain frequency. Why would we then turn around and give all of that work away?
Yeah. That's an energy exchange. People don't realize what you're doing when you are having sex. I have a video that says why sex is never casual. It's never casual.
Uh-uh.
Even if it's one time, even if it's 5 minutes, it's never casual because there's that energy exchange, and then some of that, when you exchange, a part of that stays in you and part of you stays with them. And
Right,
then
right.
now when you're a high vibrational person, and someone not that's misaligned is trying, it's not gonna work.
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
First of
The
all, you're
body.
not even going to want that. You're not
Right,
probably not going to be, like you said, aroused by that person because it's just
right.
a misaligned energy there.
And it doesn't matter what they look
Yeah.
like and what they have. It
Yeah.
just doesn't matter. It
It's the
can be
energy.
like the sexiest person on the planet, but if I can't connect in that way, it's
Mm-hmm.
just completely shut off. So
Yeah.
even sitting there and talking to this gentleman, and he's like, we're in this season right now. Let me tell you, I believe he's a disagreeable. I'm not going to tell him that, but it was certain things that he was saying that give me, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to work with this a little bit, because he was of the mindset that we have to get rid of some parasites. That there are some beings on this planet, okay, that excuse me, that are causing the wars, that are polluting the seas, that are tearing the skies up, that are doing these things, that are promoting violence and hatred and stuff like that. And his mindset is like, we got to get rid of them. And I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. We can heal. You know, I know we're not going to be able to reach everybody, but at least put something out there to get us moving in the right direction first. You know, so I know he's here with a vengeance for some reason. What I'm supposed to do with that? And they put them in my face. I'm all this light and love, and then here comes the vengeance, and I'm like, okay, am I supposed to balance this? Like, how's this supposed to work?
Yeah.
Another thing, Kat, and I went to share with the audience. I had a dream four nights ago, and maybe you can help me with this because this was like really weird. I had a dream 4 nights ago that I had given birth to a set of twins. And as soon as the twins exited the womb, they were snatched from me. I didn't see them anymore. I didn't know where they went. And then it was like I came back here and I'm like, okay, but I gave birth to a set of twins. Then another thing that happened, I was asked to choose my avatar.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't even know. And these beings, you know, that came, they look transparent, clear.
Yeah.
I don't like if you had a clear bottle of water, you could tell that the energy was contained.
I can
but it was pure energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were like, okay, you have to choose your next avatar. And then I'm seeing like all of these shapes and sizes and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, so is that what I'm supposed to look like later? Or everything, the timelines, everything is all over the place. How have you been handling it?
Me been handling what in specific?
Like all of these timeline convergence, confusion, little supernatural experiences, running into people, you know, that your soul recognizes and know, you know, like how do you process
that? Well, I really have been thinking a lot about how we can have people understand basically what the timeline thing is, because a lot of people don't understand when you say timeline what it means. Basically, you know, a timeline is every time you make a choice or decision in your life, it splits off. And this can happen. Okay, not only can this happen here, this can also happen in an alternate universe, in an alternate world. So you have, you know, you have all of these different versions of you, your energy. You know, when you think about science and quantum physics and all that, your energy can be anywhere at any time, multiple places at multiple times. And a lot of these concepts for the human mind to comprehend is like, whoa, you know. But you know, the first thing to understand the whole split situation is to know that we come from source, and then source split itself off into trillions, and whatever number is higher than trillions, I don't know, endless possibilities, endless streams of energy signatures and consciousness, which is you and I, right? Everybody, we're all part of the divine, divine's all part of us. And so, you know, we split ourselves, we're no longer together, we're all individual, and that's why it feels like separation, even though it's not. And then when we are here, right now, I've been doing, like, the last podcast I did was actually about working ethical magic. And one of the things I talk about in that is timeline attraction. And that is attracting the things that you want to yourself without, you know, harming anyone else or doing any of this low vibrational things like curses, hexes, and all of that stuff. That's not, you know, we're not doing that. So when you when you are on the trajectory to a higher vibrating timeline, sometimes you may temporarily land yourself in one on the way to where you're going. And this is where we encounter other people. We encounter alternate versions of people on these alternate timelines. And sometimes it feels weird and it feels different, right? Like you're encountering someone and there's just something off and you can feel it. Now, people that are really sensitive to energy, just open and their third eye's open, can sometimes sense this. And I used to sense things like this as a child. I didn't know what was happening. You know, I just know there was something different about that person. and then a few days will go by and it was back to the same. And this can happen when we are raising our vibration and we are intentionally manifesting ourselves to align with the higher version of ourselves on a higher timeline.
Yeah,
Sometimes we end up in between meeting alternate versions of people, and it's just like, so what you do then is just don't take anything personally. Really, you stay detached and on your goal, your purpose is the best advice I can give, because anybody that is meant to be, with you, there's people that follow you to every timeline, because
that is true.
they're
That
gonna
is
do that.
true.
They're in your soul family, or they're basically on the same trajectory you are. Sometimes you will meet people and it's just very, very different. And sometimes when you are vibrating and you're going higher and higher in your consciousness, you people just like fall away, and we know this,
Right,
right? People fall
right.
away, and that's a part of the journey. And in Native American culture, there's something called the great knowing and the great alone. And
Okay.
what the more you know, the more alone sometimes it
Yeah,
is,
that's true. Yeah.
until, like you said, so you get to a point where you're attracting like energy, and so you're
Right,
you're encountering people less and less aligned and more aligned, and that's a beautiful thing
right.
too.
It is. It is. Another thing, just hitting on what you were saying about people following you into different timelines, that happens with your enemies as well.
Yeah,
Like if they had the ability to stop, okay, whatever your mission was in a past life or something like that, trust me, they're coming back in this lifetime to do the exact same thing. Now, what we
right.
were supposed to be doing was learning from, what happened in that past timeline, how it affected us, so that when we make decisions on this timeline, it won't do it. But you will find that there are some people that are going to continually make the same mistakes, the same patterns, each and every line, because something's not
Yeah,
clicking.
true.
And a lot of people are still looking to outside of themselves to find themselves. And that's going to be very difficult. A matter of fact, it's impossible,
Yeah.
because only people can write their experiences and what they think you should be or could be or would be. But only you know who you are, right? And if you're not strong enough to stand in that power, in that divine knowing, they have the ability to alter even how you view yourself,
Mm-hmm.
even the things that you think about yourself. Excuse me. It's just like what you were saying, how we were programmed when we were kids. So the world looks a certain way, and then somebody introduces you to another concept, and you adapt that concept. And once you start adapting that concept, the concept that you once identified with will go out the window, and you'll take on something new. Next thing you know, you've lost yourself.
Yeah.
You're back in square one trying to climb again.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I get what you're saying 100%. And I'm just out here trying to do my part in triggering. Okay, like I tell my audience, I don't teach people how to think. That is not my job. My job is only to force you to think. So I come across as a trigger. When I'm talking, I'm
Oh
either
yeah.
going to trigger you to do, to be the best version of yourself, or I'm going to trigger that thing that's in you that hates me. One way or the other, I'm a trigger. You're a trigger, right? So
I'm
we're going to
definitely
see
a
these,
trigger.
right?
That is my middle name. Yeah,
Trigger.
yeah, it does.
Oh,
When you walk in a room, you can trigger someone, because when
I
I
know.
walk in a room, I walk in a room knowing who I am and knowing how my energy impacts, and also knowing how other energies can impact me. So when you walk in the room, I walk in knowing who I am, and I also shield myself, right? Because you have
Right.
that power to raise a vibration in a room alone, just with your own energy, right? If those people are, open to that. But then you also, if you're not careful, you can have other people lower your energy too, because everything is contagious, because
Oh, Lord.
energy transmits itself, back and forth between people. So,
It
protecting yourself is
does.
important.
Oh, brother. Oh, my God. Brother Lai is in here. Brother Lai, I remember him from Sinetta. Um, he came in while I was talking, and he was wearing white. And the aura behind him, I was like, oh my God, who is that guy? Right. And I had been trying to find a way to actually connect with him, because Brother Lai has this aura. He has this aura, like it was almost blinding. Maybe you can go back and see that video. But peace and blessings. Thank you. Bronx Yogi Report. How are you? Thank you for joining us. And Thomas Skinner, he said he loves the sister. Trust me, we love you too. We love our brothers. Okay, we're here for it. We are here for it. So I'm sorry about that. I just had to make those acknowledgments because I
That's
didn't even
fine.
realize anybody was in the chat at the time. I was just talking. So
Yeah.
what I was saying was, no, you were talking. Go ahead. Finish.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're just talking about how energy is, contagious, and you have that ability to raise a vibration in a room or to allow it to drag you down,
Right.
and just to be, protection at this point is very important. Like knowing to shield yourself, your energy, your surroundings, your home, your body, your mind, all of that is super important. I can't tell you, because when you're doing this kind of work, you're going to get, like, I trigger people all the time because that's what the light does, right? The light is going to either attract or it's going to repel.
Right.
And the same force is going to either attract or repel. And so when you
Right.
walk in with that energy, people are either going to be raised by it or they're going to be repelled by you. So I'm used to I'm used to repelling people at this point.
I do too. It's very unintentional. And the
Right.
only reason why I'm thinking that this is happening to me is because, like we said, we are triggers, but there's something about us in our tone, the way that we talk, the way that we speak, that reminds our brothers and sisters. They're like, wait a minute, I'm recognizing that energy. It's not just outside of myself. I possess that too. And maybe,
Yes.
just maybe, our influence will get them to recognize I'm way more than what I am showing the world. I'm way more than how I am showing up to the world. I got this connection, to the creator. I got this connection to the ancestors. I got this going through my DNA. I can tap in. We're just not here to be sheep. But it was amazing how a lot of our religious texts would refer to humanity as sheep. But when you think about sheep, what do? They're just being led. If it sounds good, if you can get an emotional response from somebody, if you can tap into some areas that person may be struggling with, and it just sounds nice at that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they're more than likely to go along with it than to actually sit back and do the critical thinking. I've always had an issue with certain writings that keep demonizing melanated beings. Have you noticed
That's a lot
that?
of writings.
Yes. So, I'm sitting around and I'm watching people, pretty much like gravitate to something that is diametrically opposed, to your own evolutionary growth. They want you to think under them. Now we have different, DNA lines, right? We have different genetic codes. We have different ancestry.
Yes.
But when the major religions or the major books are only uplifting one portion, but demonizing another portion, why aren't you sitting back thinking about that?
That's
why
scary.
aren't you saying, something's got to be wrong here, because we know the creator is not a racist. So what L is, right? What influence is during that time? We got to figure it out. And when we do the critical thinking, that's when we say, okay, now this could be truth, but this right here, this could be a fact, but this right here, and we go through that process of balancing it, right?
Absolutely. And they want you to stay a sheep because they don't. It's all about control, really. It's all about control. And this is why you titled this "Escaping the Matrix," right? Because that's one part of escaping the matrix. Really, where's the freedom at? It's here.
Right.
The freedom is in the mind. Once you're free in your mind, nobody can control you. Nobody can make you believe a lie about who you are and who you aren't.
Right.
Once you're educated on your history as well,
that becomes a threat, because the matrix itself is layered. It's layered. So
Mm-hmm.
we have different levels of truth in the matrix, and you can escape one and go right into another trap. Okay, so now
Yeah.
that trap could be religion. You navigate through that, go right into another trap. Maybe that trap is an ideology. Okay, but I like to tell people, if it's in your face, if it's constantly in your face, if it's being promoted, do me a favor, observe its opposite. Because things that are being pushed on your psyche,
Yep.
things that are being pushed to you, is they're doing so in a way to get the mind to think a certain way so that you will function a certain way. So we have to go within. Okay, we could take these writings, bless them, our ancestors, they left these breadcrumbs for us, right? We got to follow the clues. We got to follow the clues. They left all of this for us. But a lot of times we don't want to do the thinking. We don't want
Yeah.
to do the investigating. We don't want to do the meditating. It's easier
Mm-hmm.
to have somebody think for you than do the work to think for yourself.
Absolutely. You're so used to being spoon fed that you don't want to feed yourself. I mean,
Absolutely.
basically, yeah,
So,
that's what it is.
what you said was you were wanting to do a meditation, right?
Yes.
Dudama, bless you. Thank you for joining us, Dreadful Cosman. Thank you for joining us as well. Um, these were some things, that I myself was kind of meditating on my own, and I want to put it out there for you. So when you do this meditation, if you are led to speak on it, it would be great, right?
Okay.
But here's some things that I know got to go. That two-party system, this government, done.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and we have to get this out. I mean, seriously, 11% of a collective, if they become unified, can branch off to another timeline, right? We only takes 11%. The issue is we can't go on one accord because we're so busy fighting over beliefs.
Yeah. It's a
So busy
distraction.
fighting. It is. It's a matrix within the matrix. The
Yeah.
moment that we learn to let go and say, okay, I appreciate your journey and your walk, because I'm going to tell you something. The brother that I met, he identifies with being Islam. The one thing I know, but his mind is way broader than that, because we could talk about some real serious concepts, but it doesn't bother me what his religion was, because he chose it because of the discipline.
Yeah.
And I did not realize how disciplined they were. So he likes doing his meditations at a certain time. He likes doing prayers at a certain time. Me, I do it when I'm led. All right. If I feel it,
Me
then
too.
I'm going to do it. But some of our masculines like that discipline. We're feminines. We all over the place.
Right.
We all over the place.
Well, you know what? I have been I really have been really integrating more masculine energy because I am highly feminine. I've always been. And I don't want to say to my detriment, but in an unbalanced way, right? So
Yes.
I need, structure, and I need to be assertive and to go out and get the things and do the things that I want to accomplish things. And you need to access a certain amount of masculine energy for that, because feminine energy is receptive, right? But we have to
Yeah.
have that balance, because when you're not balanced, nothing is going to get done and nothing is going
Right.
to move forward. So you got to understand how to balance. And in the new earth, I believe that we are working towards being more, integrated as people. And, when I say new earth is a frequency. It's like,
That's right. That's right.
you know what I mean? It's a frequency that you're on. And there's I read somewhere that there's the split of the earth. If you look at the earth from the 5D, from the perspective of like not from the human's perspective, there's two earths right now. There's the old earth and the new earth. They're coexisting. They're
Right.
coexisting, and it's
Right.
almost like a cell breaking off, and then the new
Uh-huh.
earth is ascending into the 5D. And then
Right.
the old earth, I don't want to think about what's happening with the old earth because I'm not going to be there. But whoever's expecting doom and gloom and destruction is going to get that. But
Right.
that's not where I'm at.
Right.
So in order to bring in this new earth, we have to collectively make it happen. And we have to put our thought processes, our thought energy rather. And this is why I wanted to do this meditation, because when there's group energy, it's more potent. And when there's group is putting their mind into visualization and manifestation, it's even stronger and more powerful. And with
You're
all of the
right.
light workers around the globe doing this same thing, it's just a matter of time, really. um, Unfortunately, everyone's not going to make that decision to join, because there's
Right.
such thing as free will. So if you
Right.
want to stay on the old earth, and you want to stay with that type of energy, you can do that until that earth is no longer there. And then when the earth
Right.
is no longer there, you will have to reincarnate on another lower vibrating 3D planet somewhere else to continue learning your lessons until you're ready. So,
Right.
but
Right.
what we're here to do is to put our minds together to bring in that energy, and to visualize it. And that when you visualize things and you feel it and it's already out there in the ethers. It's just a matter
That's true.
of manifesting.
Right. Right. We can create out there. Once you got the understanding that your realms are really, really mental, right? And you can transmute a lot of negativity to work in your behavior on your behalf. Haven't you noticed, right? Even throughout your own walks, the more opposition that you face, the more negativity that is thrown to you, the more powerful you become. How does that happen? Is because we know how to receive that, transmute it, throw it back, and make it work for our favor. So now, when that happens and we elevate to another level of consciousness, that old tactics and tricks, it goes right by us. It no longer escapes us. We have already made up in our minds that we're going to live above the influence, that we're going to be our own, gods, our goddesses, that we're going to tap into the creator. You will get stronger the more opposition that you face. As long as when you are getting that opposition, you know what to do with that energy. You're not going to bring it into you and
Yeah.
respond negatively. You're not going to harness that. You're going to transmute it and go, oh my God, somebody doesn't like me. I wonder why. Do you understand?
uh,
I wonder why.
I lost
And we
another
keep,
follower. Oh boy. Yeah.
you know, and bringing around that soul tribe, that love is so important. So, but I'm not going to
Yes.
hold you. All right. I know you want to get into this meditation. I just been going for a minute, and I have so much to talk to everybody about, that I get
It's
excited
cool.
because I really miss my people. I do. I miss
Yeah.
you guys a whole lot. And I just wanted you to know that I'm not being neglectful. I just I'm in this mode of creativity right now, and I'm on the earth doing the groundwork. This is when I'm broadcasting out to you guys, is to trigger, inspire you, to do or to become the best versions of yourself that you were meant to become, or to become that part. But when I'm off of here, I got to do the groundwork. I got to be out here amongst the people, and dealing with the spectrum people, the behavior. When I get home, I am drained. I am drained. So we want to manifest healing on this planet. We want to
Yes.
identify mental illness. We want to manifest a new structure of government. Okay. I
Mhm.
personally believe that if we're going to be a melting pot society, then we should have a representative of each and every culture. That's what
Yeah.
I believe, right?
Absolutely.
So that when our states, we have these states representatives going, it's not one person that's, dictating for everybody, but we
Mm-hmm.
have representatives of each of our cultures, our nationality, our belief systems, so that we can see how, even if we implement this law, how would it affect those people? If we're here going to say we're here about humanity, then we have to be here about humanity. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like that, manifested. I also, the Federal Reserves, IRS,
Well,
things of that
I
nature.
feel like all these old systems, it's just a matter of time. It's just not going to work anymore. And then,
It's not.
like you said, people are going to find a way to not I feel personally that all of these old paradigms, all these old systems and things like that are are going to fall away, and we're going to build something more beautiful as a rainbow tribe. You know, we're going to build something better, and there's people out there who are going to respect you for who you are, no matter what it is,
Right.
your race, your belief systems. Love
Yes.
and respect, we can accomplish so much with respect and love, just those two things, because we don't have to have the same exact belief system, but if we respect each
Right.
other as human beings, knowing that we're just in these bodies, it's not who we are, and if everyone is operating from that space of love and respect, then absolutely, you know, we can build this new earth, and people are tired of the old systems.
I know.
And, you know,
And
it's
respect is
crumbling.
free. It's free. It's
Yeah,
easy. It
yeah,
don't take a whole lot to just say, you know what? I might not know where you're coming from, but I respect you enough to allow you to walk your journey. I don't have
yes,
to agree with you. Okay. But if I'm seeing the fruits of your labor start to manifest and it creates something beautiful, who am I? Who am I to get
yes.
in your way? You know what I mean? I'm going to
Mhm.
support you as my brother and my sister. Do you, because there's some things that you can do that I might not can, and vice versa. So when we stay in our veins, we do that. So we want to get rid of that as well. All of that personally, income tax, the biggest scam on the planet. You understand?
Yeah.
What I work for is mine. So, but I do understand economy. I understand economics. I understand when, you know, we have cities and roads and things that have to be built, that money has to come from somewhere. My thinking was, why not a sales tax? Why not do a higher sales tax as opposed to our income tax? You want to know why? It will teach us discipline too. I bet you
Right.
won't go out and start buying everything when you know how much it costs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, when you have those higher sales tax, but we could do those things. All right. So
Mhm.
that's all I'm going to say. Honey,
That's true.
are you ready to
You
get
know,
to it?
I
Or do you
feel
want to
like
talk?
in the far, when I say far, far future, I feel like maybe money won't even be the same or mean the same thing, because I
I hope
feel
not.
like
I hope
I
not.
feel like when people are in a society where they're contributing based on their gifts and the things that they enjoy doing, and vice versa, and I don't know. It's something that I see. It's something that I feel like money's not going to be viewed the same way it
I
is,
hope
or
so.
used the same.
What about barter and trade?
That's, yeah, exactly. When you have something that you love doing, I'll do this for you and you do this for me, right? That's how the ancients did it. But you know, money's been around for a long, long, long time, for
Yeah,
thousands of
we call them
years.
shekels.
Yeah, you know, but
Yeah, it's
you
been
have these
around.
CEOs, you know, you have these CEOs that are sick of working 18-hour days, and feeling disconnected from their true selves, and feeling like they're not contributing positively to society, and they're leaving. Even they're
Right,
leaving because it gets to a point where a certain amount of money is not worth the misery of the life that you live in order to have that, when you can have
right,
a new type of wealth.
right.
The new
And
type of wealth is
abundance.
love, it's peace, it's not monetary. Now we understand money provides certain, you know, things, but in the far, far future, I feel like it's going to be different.
Well, let's bring that far, far future into the now. Okay, let's try this because, you know, not that I'm really being affected by those lower timelines, because I'm not, you know, I really am in a state of peace. I really am in a state of creating and collaborations, and I even enjoy learning from people who think outside of me, you know,
Yeah,
because there's still jewels there, you know, that I would borrow. Remember the 80-20 rule, right? So we know that I like people that, you know, maybe they are a little different. Maybe they are a little eccentric. Maybe they think completely different, but I'm going to sit there and listen to you and go, oh,
hmm,
because I appreciate your mind, you know, and your ability.
hmm,
No new thought. Remember when they were saying, okay, there's nothing new under the sun. No
right,
new revelation can enter into a matrix that is boxed in. All right. So the only way to have the ability to bring about new revelation, you have to escape it. You have to go outside of it. Other than that, you're going to keep on perpetuating the same belief systems, the same energies. They might revamp, they might upgrade a bit, but in the scope of things, if it hasn't worked for the ancestors, what makes you think it's going to work for you? We've been in this state for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where's the newness? Right? All right.
Absolutely.
You ready, girl?
I am ready.
All right. So I got my handy, trusty singing bowl. Has to tap in, right? I get mine from Tibet.
Nice.
Okay. They have the Sanskrit scribes on it and all of that stuff. They have a beautiful sound. I'm going to set you off. So right now we're getting to the point, for those of you who are watching, where Sister Goddess Cat is going to lead us into a meditation to bring about some of the changes that we need, not just as individuals, but as collectives as well. So let's go.
Okay. So let's just take some deep breaths in and out to start. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. As you breathe in, feel your body relax. Picture breathing in the energy from the universe that's love. And then breathe love back out. Breathing in, taking in more love and more light. Filling up with more divine light as you breathe in. Feel yourself relaxing, the muscles in your face relaxing with each inhale and each exhale. Relaxing the eyelids, relaxing the jaw muscles, the lips and the neck. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Feel the connection from the bottom of your feet. Feel the earth energy filling you up. Feel the connection to the universe deep inside you. Picture this new earth with me. Hold this vision. Visualize clean air. The air being restored to its natural, perfect state. Fresh, clean air all over the world. In every city, in every rural area. Picture the waters on this new earth, the oceans becoming clearer and clearer, cleaner and cleaner. Picture the sea life being restored to its original state with the animals in the water. No more extinction. Imagine the land masses being healed and restored. Imagine the ice caps in place. Imagine the weather balanced and at ease. The mountains, the prairies, the grasslands, the tropical areas. Imagine that people everywhere are working together to make sure that the planet stays in balance. Imagine people working together, respecting and loving each other, no matter what the race, the religion, the gender, feeling the oneness, feeling the oneness of being individual divine sparks of God. Visualize an enlightened and fair financial system that is good and fulfilling for all. Picture everything vibrating at a higher rate. The sky is brighter. Our bodies are lighter. Our minds and our spirits are lighter and freer. This earth is beautiful and it's full of beautiful experiences and beautiful people. And we still continue to learn, but we learn with ease and flow. Our manifestations are quicker. We are more aligned with one another. This is happening, and it is so. Because we've agreed that it is so as a collective before incarnating as human beings on this planet. It is so that we are going to ascend. It is so that we're going to ascend into lighter bodies, into lighter frequencies, into higher dimensions. And we're taking this earth with us. Picture this, and I want you to feel all of the emotions as well. I want you to feel the love. I want you to feel the connection with all of humanity. I want you to taste the freshness of the water, the food. Everything is fresh. Everything is grown the way it's intended to be grown. We're going back to our roots of being connected to the ground and to the plants and the trees. We are communicating more and more telepathically with each other. Imagine being able to feel more clearly, to communicate more clearly without words, from the heart, not from the ego. Imagine knowing that you can be free, your consciousness be free. Knowing that you can go anywhere and that you can be you and that you are loved and that this planet is loving and supportive of all of us as we love and support her. As we return back to the basics, as we return back to who we're meant to be before our evolution was interrupted, before our evolution was intersected, and before we were lost, before so much information was lost, so much knowledge, so much love, so much information about who we are and where we're headed. And on this new earth, sacred knowledge is respected. It's not hidden because there's no need to hide it anymore, because there's no need to control who knows what, because we understand that freedom is ours, it's our birthright. Returning back the ancient souls that are here now to remind you of who you are and what we are becoming once again. And this earth, what she is becoming, what she is ascending to, is beautiful, and it's possible, and it is already so. Asheo, it is already so.
It is so.
It
It
is
is
so.
so. Thank you. It is
Yes,
so.
it
I
is so.
actually felt that one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I am hoping that the family who were listening in, it actually resonated with you and you something triggered and you're like, okay, hold on. All of this isn't worth it. Let's get those drums, baby.
I just want to drum
We're
for you
ready.
all. Yes.
Hi, family.
Welcome, everyone. I am asking that the ancestors join us in this moment to play through me and to deliver the medicine and the vibrations that are meant to go out into the ether, that are meant to be shared in the spirit of love. Okay. One moment. Thank you for allowing me that. I'm a little bit rusty with it, but
Wow.
I haven't played in a while, but yeah.
Well, it took everything, and my power. I'm like, why is she doing this over here? And I want to lift up my dress. And, I was feeling that. I'm like, I want to lift up my dress and get out there in the forest. But that was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. I love when
You're
people
welcome.
play instruments and that frequency goes out. I don't have that talent. That's why. I don't have that talent. So I'm always amazed, and I always find it beautiful when people do that. I can use my voice. That's about the extent of it. I can sing, but instruments, I can't. I can't. So that would be Jamia. Thank you. That is beautiful. Thank you, my sister
Yeah.
goddess. The other sister
You're
goddess said
welcome.
that it was beautiful. Jaway said he was thinking about Shane Go, like it puts him in a mindset of that. Ancient Watchman said this is in the forest in the campfire.
Yeah,
That would be
absolutely. Yeah.
amazing. You have those drums
Yeah.
in there. He's got him playing the flute. You got
Mm-hmm.
the mushroom. Like everybody that's in this little chat right now, that I'm looking at, they all have something, right? That they can contribute to that. Whether it's the growing of the food, the music, the words, the flutes, all of that. So I am so glad. I'm so glad that y'all came and joined us today. I hope that you got something out of it. We are really, really trying, during this time to raise this vibration. It's scary times out there. I was watching a YouTube video where a young 12-year-old little girl just
Mm-hmm.
got arrested for stabbing her 9-year-old brother to death.
Oh my
She's
God.
12, right?
Why?
I'm watching this. She's crying. She's like, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She's being cooperative. She's talking to the police officers, and she's saying, this is what came out of her mouth. She said, I'm so sorry. This is some demonic shit.
Oh
A
my God.
12-year-old says that, right? She
Right.
can't recall what caused her to make this act. Now, my heart went out to the mother because during that time, I realized that mother just lost 2 children. 2.
Yeah.
One's being hauled off somewhere, the other one's in the grave. And as a mother, oh
Yeah,
my
that
God, I
hurts.
would be destroyed.
Yeah, me
I would
too.
be destroyed. So I had to go into a
Mm-hmm.
prayer for that situation. There is dark energy out here, but we're so much stronger that
Mm-hmm.
it's nothing. It's water under the bridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I wanted to say. I will open up this feed if anybody would like to come in and talk to us, or hey, where is Ancient War? Where's your flute, Watchman? You want to come in and play your flute?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Excuse me. Yeah,
I
yeah.
love
Coming in,
instruments.
he said it could be a frequency weapon that target the brain to commit certain things that you may. Watchman, come on in here now. You're typing stuff, but we want to hear you. We want to hear you. He might not be able to do it, but
Yeah,
he
maybe
said that
not.
the
I
brain
love
commits certain
instruments,
things
so
that may not be aware
yeah.
of
Mm-hmm.
subconsciously. Yeah, triggers, things of that
Speaking
nature.
of no, you were speaking about the dark energy, and a lot of times, what I don't want people to think about me is that you hear this term toxic. No, that's not the word. I can't think of the word. It's basically where you're all about love and light, and you don't recognize the
Mm,
darkness. And we do have
right.
to recognize the darkness because it is there. Um,
Yes.
and it's there in many different forms. And one of the things that I do is cleanse spaces and clear out negative energies and entities, and that's something that's important to people. You don't realize that when you are susceptible to it, you can have darkness attach itself to you, and if you don't know how to work with that, it
Right.
it's detrimental to your health. So your spiritual health, your everything. And in the Catholic Church, we have exorcists, right? But
Right.
um, All I can say is, I don't regularly work in that as far as going out to homes and doing that. I do this for some people, but it's not something I do regularly because I understand like how energy works, and bringing things back with you is always something that happens when you're going out. You know what I mean? And
And
you're
you're
clearing out
clearing
energy
out
and stuff
energy
like
and stuff
that.
like that.
So it's
So
important to
it's
learn how to
important to
keep
learn
your
how to
own
keep your own
space clear
space
too.
clear too.
You know,
You know,
I'm
I'm
regularly
regularly
Okay, I just want
saging
to.
staging
I just want.
and doing prayers and
doing
things like
prayers and
that
things
because
like
when
that.
you're
Because
doing
when
this
you're
type
doing
of
this
work,
type
you're
of work,
also
you're also
susceptible to
susceptible
psychic
to
attacks.
psychic
And
attacks.
that much I
That
know.
much I know.
So
I'm hearing an
I'm
echo,
hearing an
and
echo,
that's
and
probably telling me
that's
to
probably
hold
telling me
on
to
for a
hold
second
on for a second.
because I'm getting the echo, and it might be because I just put Watchman on the stream. Watchman, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, sis. Say what's going on.
Hey, how are you? I think when you were when I brought you in, you started echoing. So I don't know. Just hold on for a second. If the whole audience was able to hear the last 30 seconds of what you were saying, Kat, please repeat that.
hmm no, I think I was just talking about how, you know, when you're working actively in this frequency like high, especially if you're on social media and you're really helping people, you're susceptible to psychic attacks. And knowing how to
Yeah,
protect yourself is really important. Really, that's what I was just saying. That we do have that energy out there, and just like you attract and repel, you also attract people energies that are trying to bring you down, or things like that. So you got to stay equipped, and my ancestors got my
yeah.
back. There's a whole team of people. I always say you don't know who you're messing with and what they are in the spirit realm. So people may look at you and think, oh,
Right.
no, it's not about that. Don't be fooled by this sweet face and smile. Um, you have to stay protected.
Right, right.
That happens to me
Yeah,
a lot. I'm usually soft spoken, but that has nothing to do with the amount of power and protection I have. So we'll just leave it like that.
right. Okay, welcome, Brother Watchman. There you go.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
are you?
Greetings. How are you?
I'm good, sis. Yeah. Hey, thank you for leading us into this meditation. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Of course, you're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
drumming
was. It was.
well. Yeah. So I was sharing that you guys were talking about the child that murdered his brother, right? There's many movies
Yeah,
out there that shows you guys that the United States governments and the other governments of the world, they're using what they call voice to skull devices. And I'm gonna read an excerpt from this book.
mm,
Yeah,
okay.
Mind War. It's
Let's
called
go.
Mind War. Yeah, and it says voice to skull devices. It says non-lethal weapons, which include one, a neuromagnetic device which uses microwave transmission of sound into the skull of a person's or animals by way of pulse modulated microwave radiation, and two, a silent sound device which can transmit sound into the skull of a person or animals. Note, the sound modulation may be a voice or audio subliminal messages. Acronym the V2K from the United States of America's Army, the military thesaurus. So that's just like one minor aspect of what's really going on. Like when it comes to like all these weird and strange murders that take place out in the world, like all of a sudden you know a person that was sane, that was your neighbor, you saw him every morning and this and that and the third, and all of a sudden she or he is on the news for something, some atrocity. Now, there's a mixture between technology and what many people call magic, which is basically like
Yeah.
telepathic communication.
Mm-hmm.
Like our cell phones are nothing
Right.
more than the attempt to copy what telepathy is really about, which is the
Yeah.
communication with
Absolutely.
another person. So the cell phones are just like mimicking what real telepathy is. So now the United States governments, you guys know about the documents that came out by the CIA. You guys remember that? That there's like I think 300 pages or so documents declassified by the CIA in which they expose all this information they've been working on for the past 70 years. So now this is just 70 years. So now imagine what's really going on right now, especially with like the 5G technology, you know, that
Mm-hmm.
like that event that you were talking about, Sister Sophie, right? When they were talking about the murder of that child
Yeah.
killing his brother. Now there is some
Yeah.
there is some entities at play as well. That, you know, let's not forget the fact that we live in a spiritual world as well. So I mean, you know, it could be a mixture of
Right.
that, but I do believe that for example, like the biggest ones, like the bombings that took place in Oklahoma back in the day. You guys remember that? Like the white
Yeah.
dude that bombed it. Okay, well that was a
Yeah.
program that was
Hmm.
that was sound to skull technology, right? And now and it gets deeper than that, because you know we're talking about deleting actual files, like mountains of files. That's why the bombing took place. You know, it's to hide something else, something more sinister. And not only that, but you guys got to remember that Donald Trump, when he was battling the status quo, he exposed it of having a sexual trafficking ring of children. Now that place, the Oklahoma bombing, that place had a children scare down in the first floor. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, then we can go deeper into the rabbit hole. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that out because I don't know, and that's one of the important things to watch what you're thinking, because your thoughts basically reshape your entire, you know, being,
Mm-hmm.
your cells and everything. So
Your
we're like
brain is a
we,
computer.
we are at war, like we're literally at
Mm-hmm.
war
Right.
on all. When we watch TV, when we listen to music, when we listen to the news, when we listen to Hollywood, when like we're literally at war every single day of our lives. We are in a constant war, being bombarded, being a lot of bombs are being dropped into our
Mm-hmm.
subconscious through all these mediums that are not even tuned
Yep.
to our sacred frequency. So
Yeah.
it's like, you
Right.
know, it's like an imbalance being created time and time and time again. But yeah, it's pretty wild. And so one of the things that Kat was doing, you know, it's like meditation helps us to like realign ourselves back to, like, you know, the organic energy. You know,
Right. Right.
that's the
Right.
organic.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get what
You
you're
know.
saying, Watchman. A long
Mhm.
time ago, remember that movie, The Manchurian Candidate? You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember
Nobody
that one.
saw that movie, The Manchurian Candidate?
I did.
So
Yeah.
I used to think that when things like this happen, they were like sleeper cells. Like that there's
Mhm.
people that may have, you know, this information or these entities or whatever that's already stored there, and at a certain trigger, they can just snap. It's like I call them sleeper cells. They're walking
Yeah.
amongst
Mhm.
us, you know, every single day, you know, living their everyday life. And then it takes one trigger, a word or something like that. And then here you go, this alternate personality comes through.
That's in the
So
movie.
yeah,
They
I
show.
get what you're saying, Watchman.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they show
Yeah.
it in the movies. And now watch this. Remember this guy? You guys remember that guy? The shooter?
Um.
Yes.
Yeah, he was James
Yes.
Holmes. Yeah, he was the shooter. Now check this out. Now this is gonna blow people's minds. Watch this. It says, according
I
to
love it.
Wayne,
Blow mine.
it says, um,
Blow mine.
according to Wayne Madsen, writing for Blacklisted News, Holmes was a recipient of a National Institute of Health neuroscience training grant at the University of Colorado's Anschutz Medical Campus in Denver. He graduated with a Bachelor's of Science degree in neuroscience from the University of California, Riverside.
Oh boy.
Allegedly, before the
Mm.
massacre, Holmes lectured at the Anschutz campus about the biological basis of psychiatric and neurological disorders. See that? So, like the guy that
Yeah.
went and did the massacre shooting in Colorado was involved in, like, you know, some research regarding the mind and neuroscience and all that. It's all connected.
Experiments. Yeah.
Uh, and like I
Yeah.
was meditating the other day, and this is why it's important to meditate. You know, because when you meditate, you're literally connecting to source. You're literally connecting to everything
Right.
that's around. Like the sister
Mhm.
was leading us
Right.
into listening to the sounds, and also it's all connected.
Mhm.
So I was gonna go somewhere with that.
With the technology, there's so much. When you think about things like the emerald tablets, when Thoth was talking about all of this ancient technology, it's there. It's really there.
Yes, I love him.
When
Hmm.
you're talking about neuroscience and the brain, the brain has your brain is already like a computer. It's constantly uploading, downloading information to and from the universe and from source, and you have that ability. And I know that this ancient technology, I mean, if they're thousands of years ahead of us, you know what other technology we don't know about? You don't know.
Right.
They're not gonna say, but I mean, I understand what you're saying. There's a lot of things that you can do with the human brain and the mind,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that's
you gotta be
why
careful.
the vaccine took place, because the vaccine was just an attempt to access the third ventricle, or the holy of holies, which is the pineal gland. That's the only
Mm,
they have an act. The military, the governments of the world. That's the only place they haven't even access. They don't have access to it. Why? Because we are our own priest of our own temples. We are the high priest
That's right.
and the
yes,
so so
absolutely.
so that's why back in ancient times, when the colonizers basically went around the world to conquer the known world, they had to kill the
Hmm.
ancient priests, and the healers and the shamans, and like the sages and the mages and the mystics. They were had to be killed first. Why? Because these individuals were literally connected to source, and um being able to be the channel for the community, right? And they were basically
Right.
the mediators between heaven and earth was the priesthood. With
Right.
Right.
the
That's
real
right.
priesthood has to do with like the shamans and the healers and the witches. When I talk about witches, I'm not referring to like necromancy, because necromancy are
Right.
magic,
Yeah.
and like blood magic, which is basically embedded
Right.
in Torah, when the God of the Bible commanded his followers to do necromancy, and do the highest level of magic, which is blood magic, which is sacrifice, both human and animal
Yeah.
sacrifice.
Mm.
Hmm.
But I was in meditation the other
Right.
day. I remember now what I was gonna say. I was in meditation, and that's one of the importance about meditation, is that you're able to plug into the system and plug your own energetic self back into the system, so that you can get downloads of information. And so in one of my meditations, like the gods, the elementals, they show me that, um, and this is what a lot of people are saying too, like astrophysicists and physicists themselves, when they talk about that human beings are nothing more than artificial intelligence of the organic matter.
That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah,
Okay. Go
human
ahead.
be-
Keep going.
yeah, human beings will be the artificial intelligence of the actual organic matter itself, is Mother Earth, right? Because we are
Okay.
elemental ourselves, like we're
I get
just,
it.
yeah, we're elemental beings. So we're like that. We're not, we even though we are organic, we are also
Hmm.
mechanical ourselves, like mechanically speaking. That's how we move. But we are not like, literally, we're not the original ones. The organic matter itself, the four elements, they're the gods of this planet. They're the primordial forces that have always been here,
Primordial. Mhm.
decided themselves to take
Hmm.
counsel among themselves to create an artificial intelligence that you guys call humans. And so that's basically what they show me, that's basically what it is. And so we're just traversing this place, like, uh, that's why, like, I had to step away from Black Hebrew Israelite and all that dogmatic ideologies that leads
Yeah.
us, what Sister Cat was saying, that frequency, to like live in the frequency like of love. Literally, like,
Yeah.
love is the highest frequency
Hmm.
of all. And
That's
so,
right.
yeah, and so that's one of the things I've been learning, for the past year. I've kind of been away from from like YouTube. I haven't done any lives, because it takes a while to like
Right.
into like the self and the inner
Yeah.
self, the inner
Hmm.
sanctum, go inwards, and it takes a while for you to go inwards to like understand yourself first and foremost, to understand ourselves, to heal ourselves first and foremost before we even heal everybody else,
That's
right?
right. Yeah.
That's like one of the lessons my shaman taught me, that like
Right.
when we are helping others heal, we're literally healing ourselves, but like the work begins with us. But yeah, that's all I wanted to share.
I'm glad that what he said. I am so glad. I'm going back to what you said earlier. Okay, I'm going to rewind it a little bit. When you were talking about how they got rid of the, you know, the shamans and the mystics and the healers, and how they had to kill them all first to bring in an organized structure of beliefs, right? But
Yeah,
those that they did not kill or murder, what did they do? They psychologically attacked you. Okay,
yeah,
they out ostracized you. They made you
Yeah.
yeah,
feel like you were working with the enemy. They made you feel like you were some kind of way evil. They did all of that. They did a number on us, you know, and this is perpetuated through time. Like we can't even, a lot of us can't even deal with one another because of, you know, what the belief systems are. But truth is, we were thrown into something where we had two factions that was on this earth at this time. And one faction dealt with self mastery, self governance, you know, going from within, understanding who the creator is by mastering ourselves. And then you had another system that forced you to want to look outside of yourself for that. So now that's where you
Yeah.
get your religions. Well, I can only, you know, get this if I follow these rules, or I do this, and I have to look a certain way, and I have to act a certain way. I got tired of looking and acting a part. I would rather
Right.
just be the part. Either you're going to
Yeah.
recognize me by, you know, the energy that I emit, or you're not going to recognize me at all. And in either case, I'm okay. Either way, I'm okay. But
Yeah.
during
Yeah.
this time, many of us are going to go back, and we are going to tap into those roots. We are going to tap into the ancestors. We are going to wake up, and we're going to say, wait a minute, a lot of this stuff wasn't even needed. It wasn't even necessary. All I had to do was really ground myself, meditate. I had to look within. I had to see the areas of my life that was holding me back, understand why they were, start healing, and just being. That's how simple it is. Just to
Yes.
be.
Yes. Yes. We've gotten to the point where we
So,
just can't be. There's all these expectations of should what you should and all of this. And you're not a person's not allowed to really be, to
yeah.
right,
understand themselves, you know. It's so
right.
One of the things I was thinking about, like, this is just my personal, I want to share my personal opinion, right? And I want you guys to give me your feedback. And those who aren't watching too, I want you guys to think about this, right? And I don't know, a lot of people have shared this before. I've heard other people share it too, but I've been thinking about this for quite some time. What if, right? What if every single one of us, right? And I know it's true, but what if it's like, um, literally the truth, that each of us are just like, an expression of the godhood himself or herself, right? That you are, that in
Of
order for
course.
god in order for God to experience like his entire creation, he had to like multiply himself and herself into our various forms, whether it be straight, whether it be
that's right.
animal, birds, whether it be amphibian mammals, whether it be humans, whether you are Chinese with slinky eyes, whether you black or brown, whether you're lesbian or not. I don't know. This is my idea, right? Because
That I believe that. I believe that.
what we're seeing right now is like an entire shifting of consciousness, right? And you have the gatekeepers out there that have sold themselves into this religious mindset, enslaving the mind to say that,
Mhm.
oh, hey, well, if you're meditating, that means that you must be possessed by the devil. Well, if you're doing plant medicine, that means that you must be a drug addict. Well, if you like women, if you're a woman and you like
Right.
women, well, something must be off about you, this and that and the third. And so I'm talking about in generalities right now, uh, because I mean, what if God is just experiencing himself in all these various forms, you know, because at the end of the day, this creation that we're in
I
right
talked
now,
about that, Watchman.
yeah,
We talked about in the beginning, didn't
I
we?
talked
Yeah,
about
God,
it.
we're
I
just,
call it
yeah.
emanation. I've been
Mm-hmm.
trying to tell people this for a very long time, you know, while we have this realm of duality and we're trying to separate everything, okay? But if everything comes from the same source, it's not separate. They have a function.
right,
They
right,
have a function. Either it's agreeable or it could be disagreeable, but it comes from the same source. So why are we fighting against these expressions? They serve their purpose, whether it's to purge, cleanse, balance, justice, whatever, you know. But you're absolutely right. You know, when we're dealing with the Ein Sof in the 0 point of creation, the only way that it can experience creation is if it keeps duplicating itself. So I'm in
exactly.
Yes.
agreement with you.
All right, yeah, because
I'm
Mm-hmm.
in agreement with you.
the reason why, because the reason why I said that is because uh, when I was in the religious system, you know, I was always against the LGBT community. Like I hated those guys, I hated those people. You know, I couldn't stand them at all. And then when I was in the Black Hebrew Israelites, it got even worse because you guys know, if you guys read the Torah, you know what happens to those who are practicing such and such. So, but now that I come out of all of that, now I see like, you know, now mind you, I don't want you guys to take me the wrong way. I do believe that there's certain dogmas and ideologies that are being pushed out, but it's not by the LGBT community or none of that. There's a, you know, there's another agenda behind all of that, and they're using the LGBT community as a propeller for their agendas. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's another subject in itself. But the whole point is
Okay,
that
yeah, yeah.
now, now I see that like they're just human beings that are experiencing they're having their own spiritual
Yeah.
experience, and
Yeah.
then uh, that,
That's
oh,
true.
you're off with you, that's the sin, that's what goes against the law of God. Well, wait a
Mm-hmm.
minute. When we look at nature, we can go back into nature and look at, for example, you got seahorses that are pregnant. The male seahorses are the ones that get pregnant, right? You got butterflies, you got the
Mhm.
caterpillars that are
Mm-hmm.
what, male and female, and when they transform, what do they become? Do they become feminine, male feminines, or what? And so we begin to see these like non-duality even in nature. Now I'm
Yeah.
not saying that you know, I'm not saying that, oh well, men and women are not supposed to be together. I'm not promoting none of that. I'm just saying that we have to be like Sister Cat was saying, everything is about love. Like when we begin to love your neighbor because she is black or she's Asian or she's gay or she's lesbian,
Mm-hmm.
or the other person is whatever, you know, we
Mm-hmm.
begin to practice what God is, and
Can
God
I
is
share something with you? You
Mhm.
know, yeah, I believe what we were saying. We're all emanations of God in various endless expressions. You know, you know, it's like, how can I put this? This is all surface things. This is all surface things. And when we come here, we're here to experience a human experience, right? And a part of the human
Right,
experience is being everything, every race, every gender, every sexuality. Okay. In the past, okay, just like, you know, we learn things and then we evolved. In the past, I only geared myself as far as putting myself out there to the gay community because I'm a part of the gay community. However, you know, as your consciousness rises, you understand that we're all like, that's just something that human beings make up as another way to divide ourselves. And we're all, you know, everybody is equal, and love is love, right? So when you know that everybody is just a soul in a body, none of that matters in the scheme of things. And when you limit yourself, for instance, when I limited myself to a specific audience, you know, I'm limiting myself, right? And I've
right,
discovered now that, you know, the whole world needs medicine from everybody. You have to listen to people that look different from you, that sound different from you, that do
right,
things different from you.
right.
Because, like you said, you don't know what you're going to learn from who. And we're all here to teach each
That's right,
other, you know?
right,
So,
right.
all of these things
And that
are
divine
limiting
expression of
concepts.
love,
Right. All of
that
these things
divine
are limiting.
expression of love will say, okay, I may not agree, I may not look like it. I may not identify with it, but I still love you. I still want the best for you. I still want to see you prosper. I still don't want any harm done to you. I still want you to walk out your journey. I don't have to be there with you to show you that you're my sister, that I love you, to show you that you're my brother, that I love you. You understand? So that's what it's about to me. And still collaborating, still having that ability to, collaborate with guys, brainstorm, make things happen. Why does hate automatically come in and start sitting when somebody's different from you? Why is that the next reasonable emotion to have? Either I love you or I hate you. Either I like you or either you're my friend or you're my enemy. Why can't it just be what it is?
And I think
I don't know.
I think the questions that you're asking are beautiful, because the questions that you're asking, like, where is all this hate coming from? Like, how are we able to be filled with so much hatred to the point that you're almost, you want to end someone's life, and so the way I see it is like, I think the world is ready to leave the root chakra of itself, of the life that we have lived for thousands of years as human
Thank
beings.
God.
I think
Yes.
is ready to make that next jump to leave the root chakra, because the root chakra is all about that. It's all about sex and heated passions and hatred and anger and all that's passionate, all that red and orange, all that
The
passion.
lower
But
locus is what I call it.
yeah, lower, lowest, like the sacrifice, the human sacrifice, the blood sacrifices of the Levites, and that's all symbolic. Now that we are emerging to like this new frequency, now we understand, like the three of us right here, we understand that people are watching, we understand like the situation, but the entire world doesn't, because they're still like sunk into the system of the brainwashing mediums of television and music, to basically keep them inside the bubble, right there in the spell, right? What's in the spell right there. So the way we break the spell is like the what sister was saying, love,
Through
love,
love.
love.
Love is the ultimate thing that's going to bring everyone together.
How many of y'all are Star Wars fans? Who's a Star Wars fan here?
I'm more Star Trek. I'm a Star Trek. I'm a Trekkie.
You're a Trekkie? My other brother, Ty, in this chat is a Trekkie. Yeah. All right. So, excuse me. Some of the concepts that y'all are saying have been brought out beautifully in this movie, right? If you followed it, like from the stages of the 70s all into the development of now, the introduction of the divine feminine, which came in as, Rey at that time. She's the last Jedi. All of the ancestors, came through her, and she's considered the last Jedi. But I'll put it this way. But what you saw in that movie, if you followed the whole trends, where there were two factions that were pinned up against each other, okay? So you had the Jedi and you had the Sith. The Sith was just as powerful as the Jedi, right? But the way that they pulled their power was from the lower levels. So they were able to get strong through passion, through rage, through anger. Like you will hear them promoting it. Oh, I can feel your anger. It gets your focus. So these are how the Siths are talking. And, and they would be badass. Then you had the Jedi. And the Jedi was all peaceful and loving, and they had to practice detachment. And because they would say things like, love opens up doors to the dark side. So we practice detachment so that we don't tap into those emotions that will cause us to get out of it, right? But the problem that was happening with the Jedi was that they were proactive with anything, because they believe in harming none, because they believe, in love and light. A lot of times things were happening, places were being taken over, republics were formed because they refused to intervene. Now, what you start to find out later on in the series is both factions was wrong. They had to have a balance. right?
Yes.
So the Jedi wasn't supposed to just simply say, okay, deny love, deny passion, all of that stuff. That's a part of us as human beings. We have to have the ability to explore and identify with our emotions, right? That's why we have them. It's just how we're going to govern ourselves when we have these emotional experiences. So you see that the Jedi temples were destroyed at the end because they didn't do well either. So now Rey, she comes in, she's the last Jedi, and she brings balance to the Force. So the whole series was about this balance. I was saying that because when we're talking about the realm of duality, how you have one versus the other, and if they don't understand that both is needed, if they don't understand how to balance, there's a time and a place and a season for everything, right?
Yes.
So the Jedi had to be destroyed because a lot of people was getting hurt because of their refusal to get involved. So the innocent wasn't being protected, and the Sith had to go through. They had to be destroyed too because they were only governing off of raw passions. So you see now how these dualities are starting to merge in. And I tell people, if you want to know what's really going on in this realm, you got to pay attention to Hollywood because they're going to tell you the truth. Okay, we can't have agreements and be held to these agreements out of falsehood or deception. They won't stand. So you have to willingly be able or willing to give away your power or to agree with something in order to be trapped in it. So that's all I wanted to say.
Right.
I can get long-winded over
that. Yeah. Well, the force is real. So the force is all the force is the energy is God, is the divine, right? It's everything that we can connect with at any time. And it's the power, it's the power that's in everybody. And it's the love that's in everybody. But yeah, balance is important.
Ty. I like Ty, my brother Ty, writes in the chat, and he's right. He says, where he go? Both Star Wars and Star Wars for emotion fueled order with the Sith. And the Jedi both were needed for the balance. So they were both necessary. They should not have been in opposition, because when they're in opposition, when the lights and the dark polarity start fighting and forcing the human mind to make splits, then we'll never be unified. There you go. A house divided against itself will not stand. So as long as they keep doing that, and it's us versus them, where are we going to head as a people?
And the house divided against itself, it's also referring to your own self, because like even within ourselves, you're fighting like two polarities, you know what I'm saying? Like the dark and the light. And that's why it's important to do the work of shadow work, right? Be able to incorporate or integrate your own bullshit, your own darkness, be able to recognize that you ain't it. You ain't shit sometimes, that you fail, you fuck up, this and that and third, like that's the reality of things, that's part of the human experience, to know your own bullshit, your own shit, things that you do that you think like others don't like. You're aware of that, you know what that is. So that's the house divided against itself. It's also referring to our own temples, our own minds, the two hemispheres of the brain. The two houses cannot be, the house cannot be divided up, hemispheres of the brain, the creative mind and the logical one, they have to be like,
they call it being double-minded.
Yeah, and this is what you guys call, this is what
they call it being double-minded. And they'll tell you a double-minded man is unstable in all their ways.
Yeah.
So yeah. I love you guys. I don't know how much longer y'all want to be on here. I don't know. My attention span is short. I'm quite sure people are sitting here going,
no, it's important.
To wrap this up a little bit.
All of this is like,
but oh my God, Watchman, I love when you come in.
Thank you, appreciate it. No, thanks for inviting me. But I think I'm gonna bounce out. But before I go, I wanted to invite Kat and Sophie to one of these days do a podcast with me on my show, on my YouTube channel. I'm going back again. I think it's time for me to speak, my own experience, share my own experience with everybody. and share what I've been up to this
Yes.
year. You know, I have a lot to talk about. I have a lot of topics I want to bring out. I want to speak about my experiences when I had encounters with like uh, reptilians, and I seen shadow people.
I would like to invite
Uh,
you on my podcast to talk about that too.
yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah,
Oh
That's
let's
very
shoot!
interesting.
Now
yeah,
there we're going to get
also
Yes.
heavy. Now I'm right up in that alley.
yeah, and also
Okay.
I
So yes.
want to bring out my encounter with the fifth time or whatever, you know, the
Mhm.
fifth, which basically when you go into their ship and experience what these beings are about. So I want to
Mhm.
share because I
Yes.
haven't I know that in years. We're talking about when I was 5, but I want to bring all those subjects to the front. I also want to bring out
Yes.
experience with my 7 mushroom ceremonies that I've done during when the pandemic took over
Okay.
the world, when plant medicines. So I want to share with that as I want to share with
Right.
everybody that. But you guys are invited. I would like you guys to invite you officially to do a podcast one on one. Kat, you can come on my
Yes. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
show.
Yeah. I'm
I've been
open
on.
for that.
we'll do that.
You can come
Yeah.
to the Ancient Watchman. You're more than welcome to. We can talk about anything. I'm an open book. We can talk about anything. Like
Love it.
and this is the
Good.
invitation also to like a lot of the brothers from the Black Hebrew Israelites. I've always extended the same invitation that I'm doing with you guys right now. I've always extended the same invitation to them to come and have a conversation about these subjects of their own dogmas and their belief systems, and none of them really want to do it because I don't know why. Yeah, but
Well,
They're not
Ancient
ready
Watchman,
yet.
I
It's
also
okay.
would be interested in, I would love to also pick your brain about, as far as indigenous culture, we've always known about the star people, right? And then we've always known that we're this hybrid and we were seated here and all of this stuff. And that's one topic I haven't spoken on my podcast yet, which I've been waiting for the right person to come along to dig
well,
into that.
I
And
would love
the Anunnaki and all of that stuff. I'm offering all of that.
I would
So
love to share that.
Now I know all about them.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, we got to do
The
that.
my
Yeah,
family. You're talking
sure.
about my
Like
Yeah.
family now.
now,
Hmm.
now
Yes. Yes. Yes.
the people are
Okay.
right. Uh, the shaman that my shaman, right? The shaman that I was able to sit down with, like Mother Ayahuasca, last year. The priesthood that he professes to be part of, it's basically like the people from the stars.
Hmm.
That's why their symbol is the star. Like
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
look at their symbol is basically like like 5 leaves made into a star, because according to their mythology, they descended on the planet thousands of years ago to help the human race to expand their consciousness. And
Yeah.
the mission of the shaman that I was blessed to sit down with him. Like all the like everything it's been in the process of like 8 to 10 years of like meditating and doing a lot of work and like manifesting when that shaman was gonna come into my life. So everything's connected, like divinely appointments happen in your life. But
Hmm.
that shaman, like he is like
Yeah.
literally a prince of the stars, like literally.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in exploring that topic. I wanted to show you all something.
Me too.
This is a painting that I did. Let me see.
Oh,
Oh
It is. I don't know if you
wow.
can you see it?
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see. It's
Yes.
basically when I paint, sometimes I ask the ancestors to come through me, and I put together this painting representing the star people coming out of the portal, coming through to Earth to help us here.
Yes. And that's exactly what you see.
Yes. So
Crazy. I need to talk to you in private though about that. I need to talk to you in private because you just confirmed something that took place to me during my third night of ayahuasca. I want to talk to you about it because right now when you show me that painting, I'm like, thank
okay.
you.
Yeah. Yes.
And-
Definitely reach
and
out to me.
this is one of the things that
Got
I'm
it.
talking about. Everything's
I want
divinely.
y'all to talk. I want y'all to talk too. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
getting off of here because I do want y'all to talk, and we behind the scenes and stuff
no, no,
like that, because I get excited when people connect like that.
right.
I do. I don't know why. I'm just weird. But
That's not weird.
but yes, I want
Yeah.
y'all to do that and then come back on the show.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
know.
definitely.
But I guess I don't know. Everybody can't relate to my level of excitement over random stuff. I get excited over random stuff, so
And that's
So do I.
Sadia, that
yeah, I want y'all to do that. Okay, so exchange the stuff, and then once y'all do all of that, then I want to come back on the show, and once y'all put y'all heads together, then we go do a powerhouse presentation. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all was talking about. I don't want to be up here crazy, but yes, I would love that.
well,
I would love
All right,
that.
I'm sorry, I'm done.
I can
I'm
quickly
done.
share, quick, right? Um, I can quickly share. No, I was saying that I can quickly share real quick
Are you
about this.
laughing at me? Oh my God, I'm embarrassed.
No need to be
Oh, okay.
embarrassed amongst family. So we're all so family here.
I know. Okay. What are you trying to share quickly, Watchman?
No, I was gonna say that the symbol that she showed, it was shown to me during my third ayahuasca ceremony,
Oh my
and
God.
yeah,
Wow.
and my belly was, that symbol was in my belly, and out of my belly there was babies, like in the purple babies coming out of it, and I never understood what it meant. I never understood what it meant. So that symbol has kind of been following ever since. And so now that you brought it out, it's like, like the way you explain it, because your explanation, like, it connects like with my own spiritual experience, like the journey that I'm on. And so what I was gonna say is, like, we have to pay attention to the synchronicities that take place in our lives, because the
Yeah.
synchronicities, they're not at random.
No,
Not
and there's no coincidence that the three
no
of us
coincidence.
met or anything like that. Everything is
Yeah,
divinely
there's a purpose.
created.
Yeah, there's always a purpose. And so one of the ways to know that you're on the right path is when you pay attention to all the synchronicities. When you looking around and you see synchronized timelines, that's your symbol, that's your sign that
Yeah. Yeah.
you're on the right there.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Keep going. That's the thing. But
Yeah. Keep going.
yeah, I wanted to thank you for inviting me, though.
You're welcome.
People
Of course.
I've always been like an abstract. I do abstract art, abstract painting, but then, like, I would say the last year, my art has taken a slight turn, and a lot of it is channeled art. Before it was just me painting whatever my mood, but then it's just like I ask to be led, and so I don't even know what I'm going to paint when I have the canvas there. It just comes out, and I do all of these paintings, and I don't even understand. Sometimes I don't understand them until later, right? So I'm gonna just quickly show you guys another one. This one,
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it,
yeah.
but I don't even know what it is, but it just came
Yes.
to me. These are the divine sparks coming out of source.
Mm.
You see all the different colors?
Okay.
This is all us.
Yeah.
So all the different colors, all the different expressions.
And
We're
the
not all the same,
other,
but we
right
all come from the
I
source.
love it.
there, it is right there. Yeah,
So
this represents
Okay.
the soul. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
just wanted to share that with
I'm
you guys.
interested in the one belief that though. It kind of
I'm
looks like a language. Can you go back to that other
Yeah.
painting underneath the source one that kind of looks like symbolism or language?
Yeah, it's hieroglyphs or some
I don't know
kind.
if I'm being
Yeah.
close enough.
Can you do me a favor and take a picture of that and send it to me?
I will. Yes. And the feeling that I
Oh
got when I
wow.
was doing
We're gonna have
this,
fun with that one.
when
Uh-huh.
I was doing that, I felt like it was some sort of navigation or some type of ancient symbol. I'm not sure what it is. I do know that when I was
Oh, believe
painting,
me, I'm gonna find out.
I go into trance, and a lot of symbols come
Yeah.
to me. And I once had a dream about. I had this dream that I was in my grandmother's house, back in Miami where I grew up, and there was this glass case with a crystal in it, and on the crystal there was like carvings on it. And this dream happened like 3 years ago, but I still remember it so clearly. And it was just like a lot of symbols type shapes come out when I am painting. And I've been inspired to paint more lately because it's time. I feel like, something else needs to come out on the canvas. But yeah, a lot of my artwork is
Yeah,
inspired by ancestral memories or downloads that they just give to me. So,
right. My
but
brother,
I'll take a picture
Ty,
of
he
that.
does abstract art like that too. Yeah, and I'm gonna see if I can get him to share his. Like he likes to paint eyes and trees, and and some of them, when you look at them, they actually look like portals. So interpreting art like that, that's what I like to do. So please send me a picture of it, okay?
I will.
Give me about 48 hours. About 48 hours, and I'll come back with it. I'll come back with something. All right, I'm gonna let y'all go because we're gonna talk forever. And I don't mind talking forever with you guys. It's always high vibing, but
I have to get going as well. But I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this immensely, and I'm happy for anyone that watches on the replay as well. And I'm grateful for the both of you, for the connection that spirit has brought us together. I think it's beautiful. We're all different, but yet we're all the same. So blessings to you, the both of you.
Right. Okay. All right. And peace and blessings to you all as well. Thank you guys for the chat that came in and joined with us and even meditated with us. You might not think that did anything, but it did. Okay, because we was on one accord when that happened. Just keep that positive vibration and notion going so we can keep this things going. And my name is Sophie, and I love you all. Have a wonderful day.
See you guys on the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Love and light.
So
see you at the next one. See you at the next one too. Bye.